you're not usually going to grab Ezreal. You're usually going to grab someone like Nunu or Shen or something that's, you know, really fills a strong role on your team.
So yeah, now they've put themselves into a hole here because we're opening up the possibilities for a first pick Alistar or Nunu. And Fureur, if whichever one they don't ban, Alt-Tab's going to take first. If they don't ban either, there you go, Alistar. So probably a first pick Nunu here. Grab it and secure it. Alistar now not part of the picture. Neither is Yorick. So Jason, that's right. Sona escaped the bans here also. That's an equally as good first pick.
Sona goes well with their kiting team. It gives them that team mobility that they had in the previous game, so they can keep up that trend.
So
but it has versatility.
Oriana's open. Jace is open also.
Yeah.
Blitz is open, but you know, we're not going to see Alt-Tab at least grab that. They already have their support established. Could see Fureur going to grab the Nunu while they still can, and also taking the sticking with the Shen once again. He didn't do too great top lane.
Yeah.
But still, and the shields actually were not the biggest contributor either. But I don't know. I think they're just kind of like calling Alt-Tab's bluffs. Like, you guys totally won't go Vlad top again. Yeah,
and it is kind of surprising to take that Shen as that second pick. But you know, if they're happy with the Shen, then so be it.
Yeah.
But they did lose the lane. But a lot of times you want to hold off when you're the purple team on that top lane, since you do have the counter pick, and pick your top lane as a counter lane. And now Jace is open still, so they get the Jace pick, and you know, they will be able to have a really strong mobile team. But Jace definitely does pretty well against Shen. Shen has some nice early harass, but Jace can exchange evenly with him early on.
Yep. And Alt-Tab, I think, recognizing last game, is like those ganks with Alistar at times are just a little bit too easy. And if you want to make things even easier on your life, just pick up Nocturne, get straight on in with the ult, and secure those even more so. Possible Syndra coming in from Fureur. You also got Caitlyn there for the long range. So
well, they need a way to match up against TF right now, because Alt-Tab has a team that is built, and they could go TF very easily. So Fureur, they need to have an answer for that. And right now, they don't really have an answer for it. Syndra with her long-range stun, you know, if they're happy with the Syndra pick, I mean, everyone's been talking about how Syndra isn't necessarily the strongest champion yet. If they're happy with that long-range stun to try and, you know, stop TF's ultimate, that could be fine.
But going to be switching on over to Aurelia. So Nunu support Jungle Shen.
Yeah, that's, and we were talking about the previous game, and you were saying talking about the versatility Shen has, and we've seen that in the past. But we haven't really seen Jungle Shen in a while because of his vulnerability to you know, fast junglers. But he should do okay against Nocturne. Nocturne has some of that counter jungling presence, but he will be able to counter out the Nocturne ganks. That used to be kind of a common matchup, the Nocturne versus Shen, having the Shen for that counter initiation. So we'll see how that works. And they do have that Caitlyn Nunu lane, which is just such a devastating pushing lane. And we've seen that a number of times in the past. And
Caitlyn did get a small quality of life improvement there in the latest hotfix. The Q does a little bit more damage over time. You know, usually there's a huge drop off in damage to more minions or champs it hit.
Yeah.
But now it's been slightly reduced. But then again, Piltover Peacemaker, that's not a skill you usually see Caitlyn use in the middle of team fights. You usually don't see Caitlyn use any skills in team fights just because there's so much wind up and it just stops her from doing damage.
Yeah, she's really just disabling herself a lot of times when she uses her abilities, which is the struggle for late game, and she doesn't have, you know, that great AoE that scales off of AD or anything, so she just becomes an auto attacker late game. But we'll see what kind of pressure they can put on her early game. And the range will do very well versus Graves. She will be able to try and bully him around a little bit in lane, particularly with the Nunu. Like, that is just a devastatingly strong lane. They can try and bully around Graves some. But we'll see what presence TF is going to have. And they're running the Karthus against it, so they have the double global versus the double global. So we'll see what kind of presence Karthus can have. But it is a fairly short-range team, so Graves is very vulnerable to Karthus. TF can be as well. If Archigod can get farmed, then he will be able to crush team fights.
Yeah, so I think one of the game plans Fureur is looking for is, once you start getting into the team fight phase, Shen possibly split pushing, charge straight on in, suicide with the Karthus, get the Shen shield onto him, keep it alive a little bit longer, just so you can get that positioning if and when he dies. But as we saw game number 1, the farm on Fureur was low enough so that they could just blow. It didn't matter if Shen ulted anyone.
Yeah.
They had enough damage on the team to blow up whoever was being ulted on.
Yeah, and they definitely have a lot of damage right now.
Yeah.
If Karthus can grab someone like with the exhaust, then late game you can usually take out an AD carry in like 3 shots of lay waste.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, they just explode, and that's going to be really dangerous for them. But they do have really nice pokes. So having the TF and the Jace, they will be able to wear down Karthus a little bit before the fight. Jace could maybe knock him out with his Thor's hammer to try and pick up that kill. But we'll see how that'll work. And that frontline AoE, it helps make up for the fact that Caitlyn lacks that really strong late game, because then she's also going to have the damage and the range to just focus people down single target, from that back line. And she's going to be very safe. So it is an interesting strategy from Fureur. So we'll see, how they can run with it and whether or not they can counter out some of that aggression from the TF and Nocturne double ults.
Now, Caitlyn, going with the cleanse, kind of making it a bit of a passive lane. She's just looking to sit back, keep the farm up.
Well, she doesn't want to die to TF and Nocturne.
And she also doesn't want to die to TF or Nocturne. But then it's also going to help immensely against the Sona ult also. But you look at White Knight, he actually goes for heal flash. You also got Ignite onto Sona, no exhaust down there in the bot lane. So I'm wondering if Alt-Tab's just content on farming bot lane also.
Yeah, I think for the most part they're going to play defensively, because against Caitlyn and Nunu, they're not going to be able to do anything without the Nocturne or the TF. However, when Nocturne and TF come down, they should have enough disables to pick up the kill even without an exhaust in their lane. So we'll see how that kind of factors in. But the heal, it will allow them to avoid some of that quick burst from Caitlyn. If she wears you down, they won't have to worry about dying to that ultimate as much, or to the Karthus ultimate as well. So they have the heal for that. And since there's no Ignite from Fureur in that bot lane, that'll actually work out pretty well for them. So we'll see. But that heal will actually help counter out both Karthus and Caitlyn. Again, they are just playing passively until TF and Nocturne start coming down.
So now we got Shen in the jungle this time around. I'm just looking at perspective lanes, opportunities for him, because TF, he does have short range. He could go for some quick ganks in the mid. Jace, though, as we mentioned before, with that hammer, he can deflect away most ganks. He's also got some pretty good movement speed on him also. We've established that bot lane is going to be farming passive, so I think we're going to be seeing Thanix camping out mid quite a bit here.
Yeah, that is a possibility. Shen's taunts are okay. TF, he does have that kind of short range, and if he gets the taunt, if Shen gets the taunt, then Karthus will have enough damage to take him down. Yep. I'm kind of curious if we might see a lane swap, because we haven't really seen a lot of lane swapping from the EU scene. It's been a lot more popular. It's starting with kind of the Asian scene, but really become really popular in the Korea and then North America. It's all the teams are doing it.
All the teams, everybody's doing it, man. I think you should do it too. You want to be with the cool guys, right?
I'm kind of curious. I mean, they have the team that I would normally expect to maybe see a lane swap from, with the Graves and having the Jace as well. Jace would be very strong in the 1v2 lane, and then Graves would be able to bully around Aurelia some. But we'll see. I think they're probably just going to go with standard lanes here and have that Jace versus Aurelia matchup, which can be fairly even, or it tends to be a pretty even matchup. It's kind of just a skill matchup. Aurelia has the damage to chase down Jace, but Jace has the hammer to knock her away and be safe in that lane. Yeah.
But usually if you do go for that lane switch too, now the way the meta has kind of evolved is just a race to try and take out that first tower. And for that, though, I would give the advantage to Graves Sona, because you do have the aura, you do have the increased damage, but Graves also has that attack speed steroid. A lot of damage can be going on to that tower, whereas Caitlyn
Nunu is one of the best tower pushing lanes in the game. It's so powerful, but Jace has the AoE clear to stop them. So it is the AoE pushing of Graves versus the AoE clear and the AoE clear of Jace to slow down Caitlyn and Nunu. So yeah, I think they would have an advantage, but it's tough to say. Caitlyn and Nunu push down towers so quickly. They are one of the fastest in the game. So they're going to be able to just obliterate those towers if they can force people out of the lane. That's kind of the key. Is you want to just get that harass, be aggressive at harassing people down. The second that Graves and Sona leave lane, then they can just drop the tower very quickly to like half, and then kind of decide how they want to play it. But Graves is really going to be in a tough situation against that ranged harass from Caitlyn.
Yeah, that's Caitlyn works very well against Graves. Granted, Graves does have the passive. He is a little bit more tanky than most other ADs, but when you're just flat out outranged, and if you want to close the gap, you have to use your skills to do so. Like if you need to dash out, or if you want to trade harass, use a little bit of buckshot. Granted, you can, but you're going to run out of mana very quickly on that dude. Broken Shard right up here on top of the ridge. Going to be seeing the Shen up on the tri-ramp. Ube will not be getting a free shot off. The vision is cleared just a little bit too quickly to lay waste over the wall, over the ridge. just to dissuade the Jace trap. Also, nice tasty little cupcake right at the end of the ramp, just in case anyone is opting to pursue.
Yeah, and Alt-Tab actually has a really strong level 1, but they're concerned about the poke that Karthus might have, and as well as Caitlyn early on with those traps. They don't want to walk into a trap, so they are playing kind of defensively. You know, Nunu, you're not really going to slow him down that much, even if you steal his blue, so they will be pretty safe there. They are just making sure they can defend Nocturne, and it seems he is going to be starting with that red path. We'll see if he's actually going for the race here. He should have seen this trap placed, but he's actually, if he just auto-pass, he'll walk into it, so we'll kind of see what happens there.
Yep. So Ube and Nasty Wood sticking around the blue area. They may also take. Well, it's good to help out Shen start off on the blue just right quick. Virtual going to be starting off on the Wraiths. Going to be going over to red. So both the junglers starting on the same side of the map. No invades. Nothing. Everyone's playing very safe very early on. Jace going top lane. You got Graves and Sona taking up those small golems. And the large golems resetting actually a little bit. It's going to take a little bit longer than usual. And Amnesia taking a little bit too much damage than most supports would when taking those small golems. But here
it's fine.
It's just fine. It's fine.
It's about right.
It's a support.
He didn't really take that much damage. And Nocturne, they are giving him a smiteless clear, so bot lane giving him a huge early advantage, so he can be very aggressive. They are going to miss out on some CS here, so they actually only miss out on one. So not really that big of a deal, but having that smiteless clear is definitely huge, considering that Nocturne already has an advantage over Shen.
So Caitlyn and Nunu returning her bot lane, so we will not be seeing the lane switch happen here. You also got Amnesiac just clearing the traps, just saying it's like, oh, I can use a cupcake or two. I need a snack. I need something here. You also got mid TF and Karthus. Karthus, for the most part, is a very passive farmer, but with the jungle presence, he can get the damage down onto TF. And TF, since he is shorter range, he is wide open for the wall of pain. And if that happens, then Karthus can actually just do it on his own without any assistance. But we'll see if he gets aggressive on that. You got Nocturne and Shen meeting up in the jungle. Both of them have the double buff shield on it to Nocturne, and Shen's not looking so hot here. He does have shield's taunt over the wall. We'll get the safety. Now Nocturne's not in the greatest of spots. He's still a little bit too far deep. But Shen ducking on back. Is he still there? Yes, he is. Fear going down, but he will not walk backwards on that one.
And Nocturne's strong enough that it doesn't matter. He can be really aggressive now with that advantage over Shen. Karthus, you know, isn't going to be the best at going into the jungle. And he has, you know, Jace and TF as really strong lanes for support. So he's going for the steal. He actually gets the blue raid, but Theodic's coming in as well, chasing him down. Virtual will be able to get out there, but turning around with the heal, the fear, but sees Karthus and will back off. Karthus actually landing some nice late wastes onto Geyser for some lane control.
Very well done. And also Geyser's pushing the wave straight on into his tower, so Archer Guy can just pop up the AoE, pick up all that farm. It's not too much of an issue. And you also saw the exchange go in top lane earlier between Jace and Aurelia, and Jace had a pretty good leg up on there, and still no summoners used, no ignite used. If Jace gets a little bit too much damage, and you just pop up that ignite, flash away, be safe. But here comes Shendo. Thanik still has that double buff. Jace is in the very vulnerable spot. You got the slow coming in, followed up by a taunt. Hammer keeps Aurelia away, forced out the flash ignite. First blood going to Shen.
Yeah, and he didn't get the hammer off fast enough, so he was trying to hit Shen out before the taunt hit.
He actually hit Aurelia.
No, he hit Shen with the hammer, but the taunt hit first. So the Shen taunt hit, and then by knocking Shen away, instead of you know, just standing there and not moving, he actually chased Shen away from his own turret, which pulled him further out of position. So that kind of, you know, sucked for him. But nice kill, you know, pick up for them, and we'll see if they can, you know, try and snowball that lane a little bit. Aurelia will be able to bully around Jace if she gets an early advantage, but Jace should be able to rain farm pretty safely. And so far, the harass from Sona and Graves has been actually working out pretty well in this bottom lane against the Caitlyn. Despite Caitlyn's range advantage, you know, she just keeps on walking into those bug shots, and then Sona's been able to get some nice harass as well.
Also keep in mind too that this is a healing support versus a non-healing support also. Nunu, when you run him, he's the ice ball and he's the blood boil, and that's about it. Literally, Sona, you do have those auras. You can get off that quick heal and that quick harass also. The frequent harass. Snowball from Nunu, granted, yeah, it's more there for the slow than it is for the damage.
Yeah, but once Caitlyn has some early lifesteal, she gets a quick Vamp Scepter.
Yeah.
That'll definitely help her out in that lane. Shen and Nocturne meeting up once again. Shen has the red buff still. He won't have it for much longer, but it will help him win this exchange. But Geezer coming in with the stun. We'll be able to get that the wild cards as well. Virtual trying to chase through that wall of pain. Will take a couple of layaways and have to back off. Geezer is very close. He throws off the flash, but the flash from Shen as well as the taunt does get him barely out of range. He was very close to going down.
Jace also came down for the party just in case his assistance was needed, but fortunately it will not be necessary. Shen does get away from that one. Geezer returns to lane though. He's a little bit low on mana, but he's got those blue cards to supplement. It's not going to be too big of a deal. And Shen weakened, retreats back to his own jungle, taking up those wolves and looking to continue to path, but there was a ward placed earlier by Alt-Tab down onto the Wraith, so we will see him looking to continue his farm. Broken Shard with the hammer down on to Bretter. A lot of damage as he's being knocked into the forest wall. And Aurelia, things are starting to spiral away from her. You do have the Doran's Blade onto Jace, but Aurelia picks the Ruby Crystal first, was looking for that Heart of Gold, looking to get that GP10. And if the lane keeps going this way, if the harass is as such, Bretter's going to be needing those GP10s just to keep up. Nice hammer backwards, keeping the Aurelia away. Very well done.
Well, Aurelia had the early advantage from the Shen gank, and with the regen that she has that Jace doesn't have, you know, she can take advantage of that lane. Phoenix coming up, Broken Shard just barely gets off the recall, so he gets out of there safely. But you saw Bretter, you know, as long as he has enough HP to survive through Jace's burst damage, he will be able to harass down Jace and then regen back up with his lifesteal.
Yeah.
So he really just wants to get those quick health items to allow him to abuse that lane. He might even go for a Phage to chase down Jace if he gets a Phage proc off of a Blade Surge.
But also keep in mind that Nocturne is actually almost 6. He's been spending a lot of time in the North Jungle, and if he recognizes an opportunity on a very low health Aurelia, which during these exchanges, both of these champs get very low, pop the ult, go on in, get the fear, and get the kill.
Yeah, so we'll see what kind of presence they can put off there. Karthus going to be able to pick up the blue. One concern, though, for Fureur is Archigod. He's kind of playing a similar champion this last game. I mean, they're very different, Cho and Karthus.
Yeah.
But they lack mobility, and they don't really have a very good presence early on in the game.
Going top lane, looking for the stun, looking for damage down on to Aurelia.
He's
The
gonna get it with
Ignite
the
is still
range.
popping. One shot from Broken Shard should be able to do it. You put down the gate. Not missing with the first shot, but you may have a second chance. But Archigod is here. You got Virtual with the Q. The Fear Tether does get the swipe on in. Archigod being forced to flash out. Gets her not too far away. He does have the gold card ready and prime. Getting the stun down near tower range. Taking a few tower shots, but the ultimate should be enough to finish the job. No. Does get the kill, but that is it's still a 2-for-1.
Yeah, and now Caitlyn and Nunu are chasing down Graves here, but actually Graves going for the kill, gets the flash, picks up Caitlyn, and they do have to back off. They were going for Sona, didn't get quite enough damage on the Graves, so that he is able to turn that around. So nice job by White Knight. But what I was saying about Archigod is Karthus lacks mobility early on, so you're waiting for the enemy team to bring the fight to you, and then you're trying to pick them off. That's the same thing with Cho, is the lack of mobility, waiting for them to bring the fight to them. But having the TF, they will be able to kite that fairly effectively, and they will be able to have a much stronger map control. So that kind of lack of map control could be dangerous for Fureur, but they do have the double global to try and counter it out some. Yeah,
but I think the double global from Alt-Tab, at least at this point in the game, is a little bit stronger, especially in those ganks. We really kind of think that like Fureur's double globals, they're kind of like on the defensive end because Karthus, he uses his in reaction
much more reactionary.
They're more reactionary globals. Alt-Tab, they can be aggressive with their globals, as we saw earlier on that kill on to Aurelia. TF, he's in great positioning, teleports on in. Boom, gets the yellow card, gets the stun, gets all the damage he needs to. And now Nocturne is 6, his global presence is now up, so he can assist. And if one's down, you still have the other. And if both of them are up and you really want to get a kill, that's doom. If you're going to be using both of those double globals, you're looking to take out like towers, other objectives.
Yeah, and the Oracle's on Shen. He's clearing out some wards, but Broken Shard keeps an eye on him. And by being able to harass down Aurelia a little bit, he does keep himself safe. So he's chasing him back out of there. He has Nocturne and TF. TF is starting to squeak towards that top, and he could actually use the ultimate to see if they can catch out Shen.
There he is.
He is drawing the cards. He's going in for it.
There's the double global we were talking about, and a really quick kill onto the Shen. And that's the thing, Nocturne ult, he can't ult to a target unless you have vision. Well, I guess TF will just have to ult to do it.
Yeah, so that combo works out very well for them. Thanix does go down. And now they're starting to get a nice push bot lane with the Caitlyn Nunu, but White Knight's done a really nice job so far. He is slightly ahead. It's basically an even lane, but he does have that kill to his name. And with the pressure that TF and Nocturne are putting on this game, it's going to be kind of dangerous for them because they don't really have a means of grouping up, or Fureur doesn't have a means of grouping up as a team or controlling the map at all. They really just want to sit passively and farm their lanes. And having the TF and Nocturne mobility really can take advantage of that passive style.
And granted, both of the ults are still level 1. They are on some pretty sizable cooldowns, but once Nocturne hits 11, once TF hits 11, once you start hitting level 2 in those ults, then we're really going to see those global ganks come in quite often and quite strong.
Yeah, and Graves is way ahead of Caitlyn right now with that BF sword. As far as just what harass he can do in lane, Thanix coming in for TF will actually just hold this lane for a second, not allow Geezer to take that as Karthus is porting back. But Geezer, he can drop that tower very quickly with those pick-a cards, just get in that quick poke, so he should be able to drop this even with Shen here.
Shen, even if he does get a taunt, I think he's going to be... Oh, actually, no, he still is actually in tower range on there. Looking for that gold card, get another taunt. And look at all that burst coming down in. The tower still goes down. The Ignite gets the credit for the kill, and Bretter was looking for more damage. Throwing down the ult. Will you get the last one down on TF? Yes, you will. Just could not juke those blades. Virgil looking to help, but look at top lane. Broken Shard has all the time in the world to start chunking out that top tier 1 with everyone so focused now on the mid. So bot lane, Caitlyn getting very low behind the tower. Graves, did he use the ultimate? Yes, he did. So he's trying to pick up on that kill.
But it is interesting, Caitlyn is starting to roam around with the team, so they want to get the dragon. They will be able to take that down with the Karthus pretty easily, and there's not a lot that Alt-Tab can do. Nocturne trying to come in to stop this and try and steal it over the wall. Does he get the smite?
Yes!
He does get the smite,
Gets it.
But he will go down. So he does sacrifice himself, but it is a gold exchange for them, and they do get the tower as well. So that's actually to Alt-Tab's favor.
Yes.
And Aurelia not really comfortable in the top lane. Jace is able to harass her down some, and then leaves the lanes. So that's just going to continue that advantage for Jace.
Yeah, and Jace with some good warding, he can just stay up top lane forever, get one right in front of the red buff area, and he can just push to his heart's content, really. You got TF with the ultimate. Where is he going? Right there, trying to catch out the Shen. The combo going to be more than enough to take him out, and he's in a very similar spot as he was earlier. The Ignite as I'm walking away again. Man,
they have just so much map control over Fureur right now.
Yeah.
So I mean, we'll see how Fureur can try and turn it around. They kind of need some nice ward coverage. Nocturne, he hasn't bought in oracles yet, so he's a little bit concerned to do that. But they are coming in behind Karthus, and that lack of mobility is really going to hurt Archigod if they can get in range. The movement speed from Jace just barely pulling them up.
Nice.
They get the stun. The quick Q into the brush gives them vision, and Broken Shard will be able to drop him quickly in that melee form.
Now, you do have Karthus. He does still have the ult available, but good positioning, though, on Alt-Tab. You saw Gazer actually just fall behind. Like, I don't want to be part of this AoE. I don't want to get lay wasted. I know that if I take a little bit too much damage here, Karthus can just hit R and kill me. So good notion on him. And I'm also noticing, too, Nunu. It's 14 minutes in, and Astywood just got his first GP10. Just now.
Yeah, that's
kind
late. Of a late GP10.
That's very
he's
late.
Actually walking right into him. Nocturne takes him down quickly. There's the fear. It does tether. So Graves gets the flash, follows it up with an ultimate. Ube will back off, but they get the quick kill. Having those GP10s so late, I mean, it's not that much of a concern for someone like Nunu, but it does slow down that ward coverage, and that's kind of been the issue for them partially this game, is the lack of ward coverage and just complete lack of map control.
Yeah. Like ideally, you want both of your GP10s around this time.
Yeah.
And now just getting the first one, it's so much time lost. Aurelia getting caught top lane, not a whole lot left to do. TF still has wow. So much damage on Caitlyn right now. It's Alt-Tab's game. This is
just
Alt-Tab's
bullying
game.
them around at this point, and it started and it was almost an even gold game, but just because of the kind of team that Alt-Tab has, they were able to put on that map pressure even when the gold was even, and now they have a 7K gold lead, and it was just 2 minutes ago it was a 2K gold lead.
Yeah.
So really quickly expanding upon that, TF, he does grab that blue buff. His ult is very close to coming up, so they can just continue to bully people around. Nocturne, he doesn't have his ultimate, but with the fear, with the red card, the ult from TF. They drop Karthus very quickly. Virtual backs off, doesn't want to go down. Geezer's very close to dropping. He avoids one last lay waste, and I think he's okay. Will he go down?
Yes.
No. Fureur, Arca God, he's able to pick up the kill.
But still, you do have, actually, no assist credit. Actually, no, that's Karthus getting the kill on TF. What am I saying? So you got the assist onto Nocturne. So in a 1v1 trade situation like that, slight advantage to Alt-Tab. You did get the assist from onto Nocturne. Broken Shard looking to get aggressive on the Thanix. Even though he's out of mana and under tower, Thanix still decides to flash out because that's how much of a threat Jace is proving here in the top lane. He can't even back safely.
If he
he's
had
all
hit
paranoid.
like one attack, I think he might have had it though, because of the mana regen that Jace has, and then the auto attacks when you transition that melee form are very strong.
Aurelia and Nunu making their way up here, looking for a Jace sandwich. The ward coverage is now gone, and both of the global ults are not up either. Thanix does die here. Broken Shard still taking turn damage, flashes over the wall, but the snowball from Nunu going to keep it slightly slowed. Aurelia with the Equilibrium strike going to keep him down, and there is the shutdown that's been waiting to happen for a very long time for that Aurelia.
Yeah, and he didn't have vision of Nunu. If Nunu wasn't there, he probably would have been able to avoid Aurelia with that flash and then getting the acceleration gate. But they are going to be pushing into mid. Shen will be up shortly, so they can't really take any of these tier 2 towers yet. But they're really just going to be doing exactly what they did last game. They still have a really strong kite team. They have that poke team. They're just going to be constantly pressuring all the sides of the map and trying to push into them. This game, though, there's kind of a difference in that Fureur, they have a much stronger late game than they did in the previous game.
Yes.
Arca God late game is going to be phenomenal. He will be able to try and shut down those fights because of the short range nature of Alt-Tab's team. So if they can hold off and just continue to farm, they will have that advantage for them.
But we say this also every time too. If you have a team that's great in the late game, you got to get there first. So with all this pressure, with all this global map presence from Alt-Tab, it's going to be very rough to do. But we have seen the Baron steals before. It's something that this team is going to be equally as easy. You still have the Nunu. You still got the smite coming in from Shen also. And Karthus, he has a lot of damage in him. He can take objectives like that very quickly. So they still have the tools to get the steals and to keep themselves in the game. But like I said, they have to get there first.
Oh, and there's the poke from Jace.
Wow.
That's going to be very dangerous for them to deal with. So, they're not even going to let them fight. And the lack of initiation could make this a real struggle with the mobility that Sona gives them if Jace just keeps on wearing them down, TF as well. Aurelia trying to get in the middle of the team along with the Shen ultimate. They get the soul with the Karthus wall, but the turnaround from Sona and actually Broken Shard jumping into Arca God almost picks him up. Virtual will be able to get that kill, but he's going to go down himself. But there is the turnaround. TF was able to kite pretty effectively, and now Graves is coming into the fight as well. If they can force a fight here, get a stun with Geezer.
Graves wasn't with the fight. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
If Graves was here, this would have been a very different story. We wouldn't have a card this here, but there's still Buckshot. The ult not getting it. Barely not getting the kill down on the Bretter. Still forcing champs to back. Alt-Tab can still push on this. They could squeak out the tier 2 here while everyone is back. Everyone's recovering. Aurelia very low, but now Karthus is actually making his way on back. So it's going to be rough, but not completely out of the question. You got the Lichbane there onto TF. He can help chunk out the tower huge, and Ube just getting chunked out very big.
Yeah, but the slow from Arca God, he's going to force them back. And actually, the Caitlyn trap onto Sona forces the flash because Arca God was very close to picking up that kill.
Not often you see a flash away from a Caitlyn trap.
Yeah, but they are actually going to lose the Dragon as a result because they were all very low. They were trying to still push and pressure the turret, but they're going to lose the Dragon, which is going to allow Fureur a nice opportunity to try and catch up a little bit. They're actually going to fight this even with low mana. TF has no mana.
Yes, it's rough. There you go. Blue. Oh, Jay's coming on in with the steal from it. This is a Bretter way too far out. Shutdown coming from Graves. Down on to Aurelia. Straight out. Shen going down next. Ube being focused down in the back line by Jace. Triple kill for the Graves. Karthus ult. Is he going to get anybody off of this one? No, not this time. Nastywood now in full retreat. Virtual looking for the chase. The long distance shot and the yellow card from TF. White Knight. Oh, the delayed Quadra.
Yeah, and it didn't matter. They're just so far ahead of them at this point. It didn't matter that they were low or the lack of mana. They're able to just bully in on them. Broken Shard picked up the Dragon Seal, like you said, with his Q.
Like a boss.
So, that's definitely a nice job there. But they're just so strong, so much stronger than Fureur right now. It doesn't matter about the AoE from Karthus. They're able to just almost completely ignore it because they can burst down Karthus so quickly. So we'll see what kind of, pressure they try and put on the map. They will struggle to push down towers without winning fights first, because Karthus will be able to shut down any pushes with his AoE, and then also with the Wall of Pain. So it's going to make it very difficult for them to push down turrets, and then they're going to have to deal with Aurelia jumping onto Graves or jumping onto TF, like in the previous fight that they had lost. But they're starting to get to the point where maybe they can split push or try and do some tricky things to press their advantage.
Nocturne has now hit 11, so both of the global ults have now hit level 2. The cooldowns are significantly reduced, and TF did not actually use it in the last fight either. He didn't need to. So pop both of those ults, get a quick kill on someone, get that mana advantage, and you can just start straight up on Baron.
Yeah.
You can just start pushing around again.
It will be a little bit difficult for Baron because Nocturne doesn't have, the Wriggles or any of those AD items. However, the double AD of Graves and Jace and how farmed Graves are, they're going to be able to drop that very quickly.
And Lichbane. And you got the Lichbane.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a massive, massive boon. Wildcard's thrown down, seeing if you can get a little bit of straight damage, a little bit of a jump there, but that's okay. We got the gate right out in front, leading the way. Jace shooting down that turret, and they're continuing on to tier 3, looking for more poke. Wildcard's looking to soften up the minions, and you got everyone here to defend, with the exception of Shen. He's following up just shortly. Yellow card was looking for a stun, but look at all the poke coming in from Alt-Tab. Fureur cannot do this forever.
Yeah, they will be able to wear them down a little bit. Karthus had to go back. Ube has to back off and not allow them to poke him down, because if he gets low coming into a fight, then it's going to be a really dangerous situation for them.
Wow.
But that constant, having the blue buff for that cooldown reduction on Jace is going to be huge to be able to wear them down. They have to watch out, though, for the fast engage from Aurelia.
You also get the blue buff on TF also, so that's going to be a lot of frequent cards, a lot of painful cards right there. Archigod eating another one to the face. And while this is going on, you look at the rest of the lanes, though, they are actually starting to push into Fureur's favor. You got a massive wave actually down bot looking to push, and the top tier 1 is still actually up for Alt-Tab. That should be taking that minion wave, and then their wave should actually start to push off of that.
Yeah, but they will be able to drop this tower very quickly. Phoenix trying to force the engage. The Fear, the Soda ultimate, the Graves turnaround.
Wow.
And Nocturne ults into Nasty Wood and will back off. Karthus trying to get in the middle of the team, but goes down. And Ube drops to Broken Shard. White Knight, if he can get one more attack on Phoenix, will be able to pick it up. But that is a double kill for Graves. They do drop the tower. They didn't lose anyone, so almost picking up an ace.
Wow.
They grab the inhibitor very easily, and they're just way too strong. They can just bully them around at this point.
Thanex, the only member of Fureur alive. The mid inhibitor is now down. If that Caitlyn trap kills someone, I would have laughed my ass off. But the Baron is up and open. Most of Fureur is down. Alt-Tab just needs to go back, regen themselves, get back up to full, buy something nice for themselves, and then actually looking for the Zeeks. I think going up for Sona there.
Yeah, the Zeeks is definitely going to help out a lot once she finishes that. Considering that they have, 3 bruisers or 3 ADs that are definitely going to take advantage of that. But we'll see. They are starting to pressure this Baron, but really, there's no need. They don't really need to pressure the Baron. It could help them force a fight outside of their base, as long as they know that they're not going to get too low on it. So Broken Shard, he has the lifesteal. He will be able to stall there. But if this is actually an opportunity for Fureur to try and get a steal or try and win a fight underneath that Baron pit and maybe come back into this.
Amnesiac right there in the middle of it. They now realize that the Pit's been war this entire time, but now with reduced vision, everyone's breaking away. Finish the Baron. There you go. You get the quick kill. Come on back, finish it. Shed taunting again. Gets the steal. That's what happens when you leave the pit to focus on those kills. But Caitlyn with the ult. You got TF taking a bullet for his bro. Wildcard's going down. Quick kill onto Archigod. Everyone's still standing in the AoE. Nasty Wood looking to retreat, but he cannot hammer right back in where he started. And despite the Baron steal, despite Fureur having all that extra power and regen, there is still an ace for free for Alt-Tab.
And that's going to result in the game. They're going to take down the Nexus very easily here. Even if it had not been an ace, if it had just been 2 kills, that 5v3 advantage might have been enough for them to take this. But still, Fureur trying to get the comeback, but not able to get it. Alt-Tab just too strong, and it is kind of surprising. They didn't ban out the TF, considering how much pressure he put on the game. Jace was left open as well, and they got the Jace and the Sona, which, they were very happy with those, picks both being open. So nice pressure from Alt-Tab, and I don't know if Fureur's out, but we'll see how Alt-Tab can do in the future. Taking a look at some of these scores, Graves was way ahead in that game, 10-0-4. Like last game, he was 12-2 and 15 on Ezreal.
Look at the fireball on Caitlyn. It's non-existent.
Yeah, just, really far behind, and especially considering they were pushing into him. So usually when you are pushing in to a team constantly, then